Morning, everyone. Hope you are well. Morning, everyone. A couple things I want to share with you. I'm in Orlando, Florida currently. Fancy little little resort thing they got down here, you feel me? Overlooking a golf course, watching those who are inclined hit a ball around the grass. Golf is a very interesting sport. It's like one of the very few activities where the level of conversation tends to exceed the cost to get in. It's amazing. Very interesting conversations had on the golf course. I've had my share of those same conversations. Anyway, I want to talk about where my mind's at right now. You guys know I am into documenting. A couple things. So, as I am accustomed to doing while on leave, I find myself thinking and musing and questioning my own existence. Should I, shouldn't I do something? Especially in relation to the Air Force. Should I stay? Should I reenlist? Should I extend? I have some news concerning my follow-on. I'll be announcing that once it's a little bit more concrete. But there has been some major improvement, so I'm definitely grateful for that. But the announcement will come once I have concrete evidence, because I don't like getting my hopes up. So anyway, just being around these different environments. You guys know when I go on leave, I'm trying to go into an environment and spare no expense, exposing myself to a lifestyle that is completely new and uncharted for myself and for my family. Somebody has to go first. Somebody has to go and branch out into environments they've never been in and see what it's like. See how other people are living. These people are playing golf on, I don't even know what day it is. Was it Saturday? Yeah, Saturday, January 9th. These same people were out there yesterday and the day before, and Monday mornings, me and my boy drove past the golf course. I think it was in Vero Beach. And Monday morning, 7 a.m., there are people playing golf while the rest of us are going to work to do whatever. So it's just something to think about in terms of there's a lifestyle that other people have access to and have earned. It sickens me to hear, the word privilege is thrown around. Meanwhile, the stuff didn't come from nowhere. Somebody owns this building I'm living in, staying in rather. Somebody's, built this computer I'm using and the microphone I'm speaking into and the camera I'm looking into. Somebody built all of this, and to not get the rewards from that, it doesn't make sense. Just like you want to get a check at the end of the day, you want to get rewarded for the problem you solve. The same applies to those who just happen to solve a bigger problem and get rewarded thereby. So always from a place of gratitude and accountability is where I try to see the world from. A lot of foolishness going on and transpiring in this world we live in. My job is to be informed and remain unemotional. I posted on Twitter the other day. My job is to remain informed and unemotional. I start with accountability first. Even if it's not my fault, I'm taking accountability and responsibility for my own life. And when I take leave, this is how I expose myself to a new environment. Basically telling myself it's possible. It's possible. And in most cases, it's probable, provided I make quality decisions. It's highly probable that I could be out there one day playing golf on a Monday morning, just like everybody else. This collar is going to make me lose sleep. So reenlisting, extending. Do I want to stay in the military? Do I want to do 20? Those questions have been plaguing me from the second I left Alaska. One thing Alaska taught me is that I do not enjoy not having control of where I stay or like the state I'm in or the country I'm in. I value options. And the more I expose myself to different environments, the more appreciation I have for the option to choose. And Alaska put a bad taste in my mouth from the first snowfall, from the first time the temperature dropped below zero, 32 degrees. Before it put a bad taste in my mouth, not being able to choose. And on weekends, I'm limited to the state of Alaska because technically I'm overseas and I can't, just drive across Canada like it's nothing. To take a flight to anywhere else, needs permission. Like there's red tape everywhere. Shout out to my boy Crockett. On God, man. Cold weather is dope when I choose to engage with it. I love sleeping in a cold room, but right now this room is at 68 degrees because I like to choose the temperature. And again, there are a lot of cases where you don't have that control. It's not always up to you. And that's where discipline and commitment comes in. But that's the place I'm in right now, where I just don't have complete control of the variables that I want to control. But again, that's where options come in. The quality of your decisions develops your options. And as I look around and I say, if I want to choose between good, bad, better, different, what have you, I need options. And to get options, you need quality decisions. Not just for the moment, but long term. That's the struggle. But, life is long. Life is very long. And so every day when I wake up, even while on vacation, I think, what should I be doing right now to develop options? Well, for one, I need to be making videos. Here we are. I need to be making videos, providing value, running my business, doing the thing. I just came back from the gym. I need to be going to the gym. The place I'm in is one of action, not of wishing, not of, I had a conversation with my friend yesterday. We were talking about how, a lot of people prophesied that, the president will be a certain, end result, and they may or may not have been wrong or off or inaccurate or whatever, what have you. And one thing I pointed out to her is that the one ingredient that a lot of people remove from the equation of faith is the action. We're real quick to take the prophecy and just sit on the couch and wait for it to happen. Real quick to listen to somebody say, hey, I see that your year is going to be amazing. 2021 is going to be amazing for you. So many good things are going to happen. Just wait for it. Be positive. Chin up to the sky. Everything you want is going to happen this year. Everything that happened in 2020 didn't break you. Now you're in a new year. Everything is going to be exactly the way you want it. And then they sit on the couch for 365 days and wait for it to happen. We all have faith, whether religious or not. We all have faith. The difference is some of us have action. Some of us wake up early and we look towards what we want and we say, in order to achieve that, I need these following actions. The following needs to be accomplished for me to achieve that. I have power within myself to get in the same room as these people. Not consistently, and not on a continuous basis. But it's still my job to try. And that's really the whole point. So yeah, really just been doing a lot of thinking concerning, do I get out? Do I go to school? Do I continue the YouTube thing? Because again, no matter what anybody says and no matter what I say, YouTube is a business. It's a business. I'm here to make money. This Alpha Lee hat was started from YouTube. Shout out to CG. Any business, and we learned this very quickly in 2020, that any business not attached and not built on at least have at least a single pillar on top of the internet, it's going to struggle. It might not go extinct. We still have newspapers. So not everyone's going extinct. We still have radio. But you see YouTube is taking over cable, DirecTV. Walmart is still there, but Amazon is blowing up. The internet has removed a lot of the middlemen that we normally accustomed to dealing with. Just a lot of things I've been thinking about. I'm like, there are a lot of people struggling. Honestly, there are a lot of people that are struggling financially. Dealing with job loss and unemployment. A lot of people with degrees looking for jobs, which is amazing. A lot of people right now just value stability, just a job. Predictable income that I can plan around, that I can provide for my family. A lot of people just want the basics. But you see a lot of people, and that's what I've been paying attention to since I've been in Florida, is just how different some people are living. Some people are untouched by Corona in terms of the financial impact, the economy, and a lot of people lost money on stocks and what have you. A lot of people made money. You see Bitcoins on 10. I think gold was down yesterday. Some people are thriving during this time. Gary Vee has been predicting this for the longest. He didn't know it was Corona, but he knew that at some point the economy would be down, and that your decision making right now during peacetime, during a quality economy, what you do now to prepare for the war is what matters. Those who had studios built for YouTube, those who were planning on going all in on digital. Being a content creator, not just a YouTuber, not just a vlogger, but a content creator providing value to people. It took me like 10 minutes to set up this background. Like, it's my goal to anytime. I believe MKBHD posted on Twitter. He was like, every video you make you should pretend that first video is your first video. It's somebody's first impression of you. Quality. You guys see all this equipment I have, it takes a minute to set up. It's not cheap. And it's not light. I gotta drag all this stuff around. But it's an investment. So my mind's been all over the place. I've spent a lot of money, in this last couple weeks. A lot of money has been spent. But again, I'm investing. I want myself to be so used to quality that when I go back to the barracks, the dorms, when I go back to Alaska, and I sit in my chair again, because I know it's coming. It's already kind of hit me a little bit, as far as I gotta leave this beautiful weather. I don't want to. It's already hit me. I'm like, bruh, at some point, like UCMJ is gonna be like, bruh, hop on that plane. It's time to serve. And what we're gonna do? We're gonna hop on the plane and go back to Alaska, put our hoodie back on, and grind and work and provide value and make content and do our job. Especially while I'm getting texts from my commander, my leadership, this is wrong and this needs to be addressed. And again, I get knots in my stomach dealing with Air Force stuff while I'm trying to just be on leave and just relax. Welcome to Staff Sergeant. Welcome to, you get more pay. Here's some more responsibility. You take your laptop with you while you're on leave because you're Staff Sergeant now. Stuff that I don't want, honestly. When I promoted, I wanted the money. That's it. When I think about going officer, I want the money. Because at our core, we all think about ourselves first. Honestly, I would not be in the Air Force if they didn't have what I needed, what I wanted. To not acknowledge our self-interest is delusion. But when I realize and I come to the conclusion that this is exchange of value, this leave was paid for. Leave is actual currency. You can sell it back to the government. I'm still getting paid. So obviously from a place of gratitude, we realize this is what growth feels like. I commented on a fellow YouTuber. She was talking about her 2020 and how, it was turbulent and whatnot. And, I commented, just encouraging because we all struggle, in one way or another. But this place that we're in, as far as seeking an improvement, taking accountability and seeking discipline every single day. This is what growth feels like. My friend who I'm staying with makes 6 figures. Like, we're in different places financially. I can't keep up with him completely. But I see how people are living based on their decisions. Like he works in sales. There's more risk attached to that. There's more risk. If I wanted stability, I get less reward. That's just how the world works. So at no point do I look at his situation and say, oh, why don't I have all that money? Why can't I get, 100K a year or whatever? Why can't I get a bonus like that? We're in different places. We made different choices. So obviously from a place of gratitude, we start over, we go back to work. I won't be back in Alaska probably until the 15th. Quarantine, that whole thing. But gratitude, accountability, and this is why I document. This is why I keep my camera on me. That's why I just bought a new phone as well. Just minor upgrades. It's a step back. Technically, it's the Zenfone 7. It won MKBHD's blind camera test, competition. It's a dope phone, but it's a step back for the in comparison to the S20 Ultra. I was thinking about doing a second channel on just random things I like talking about instead of this channel. Comment below if that's something you might be interested in, or just let me know, because Air Force stuff is cool. It's cool. There's definitely an audience for it, but it gets old. Talking about Air Force stuff continuously, but it is what it is. It's what built this channel. But yeah, thinking about starting a second channel, like just another channel just about stuff I like talking about, random stuff. See if we got any questions here real quick. About to go to breakfast. Let's see what they talking about. All right, so let's see if we got any questions real quick. Got any questions, drop them in the chat. I'll see if I can address it real quick. Mark Vargas, stay in a place of waiting, or preparation rather. All right, so we got some interest. Appreciate you. Reality is strange. Drew Jefferson, my view is accessible via Snapchat and Instagram. It took me too long to set this camera up to get this background, this backdrop, this composition, if you will. So yeah, I won't be adjusting that. Nick asks, what was your motivation to join the military? Stability, financial stability. I needed something. And the cliche saying, I wanted to join something bigger than me. That's not my story. That's not mine. My answer is quite simple. I knew that where I currently was, if I wanted a family, I could not support a family where I currently was. But I knew if I joined the military, I could support a family. It was that simple. Financial stability. It kind of jolts you into adulthood because you have to address reality, especially the reality of the military, the government, as a whole. And then yourself. I was able to acknowledge that I can't afford to have children. Meanwhile, you see a lot of people having children constantly. I'm like, that's not my business. I knew I couldn't afford children. And even at my current place, I would not bring a child into the world unplanned. I'm personally bringing family planning back, just to myself, period. I take accountability, by starting with myself first and realizing most people that have children can't afford children, so it is what it is. People still pop them out and somebody has to pay for it, whether it be the taxpayers or, whatever system that's in place. But it's my job to family plan. And so my motivation was simply, I want financial stability that I can walk into a situation and grow in there. So promoting basically a system of thought, a system of environment that encourages growth, free education, even though I don't value college education, it's still free. So even if I do go to college, I'm not going into debt for it. And then obviously the ability to travel, depending on your job, depending on, tons of variables, needs of the Air Force, your career field, deployments, things of that nature. So you have options. This collar is going back to the store. You hear me? That's how the collar should sit. So the shirt has clearly, it's unacceptable. So I hope that answered your question. Yeah, it was that simple. Financial stability for the most part. So is it true that the Air Force puts you in 5-star hotels? In my experience, it's false. You book your hotels through DTS. And in most cases, you don't see 5-star hotels listed there. Depends on your location as well, location of your TDY. You will rarely stay below or stay in anything less than 3 stars. And the 3-star rating, the star rating in general is kind of off. It doesn't really make sense. Yeah, the rating system is all relative to how people rate it. So it's not. You go to Dubai, the rating system is way more accurate because it goes typically up to 7. So it really just depends on the city you're going to, and then you're booking your hotel in most cases yourself. So you might have a brand preference. You might prefer Hilton, or Holiday Inn, what have you. I know a lot of companies are just parent companies and they own a bunch of different subsidiary companies. So it really just depends. Am I near the beach? No, I'm not. I'm in Orlando. It's one thing I don't like about Orlando is that there's tons to do, but there's no ocean nearby, which is unacceptable for Florida. What's going on, Tran? Her asks, how's COVID been affecting me? I'm going to take a little bit of time on this question. COVID has been interesting for me. It popped off when where was I? I was in the Pentagon. And I was planning on going to New York City that weekend. I believe it was March 13th. I had plans to go to New York City. Hotels booked. I was about to go live it up. You feel me? I was about to do some work. And yeah, COVID squashed that trip. Got my money back, thankfully, but didn't happen. From that point on, dealing with, working from home, I loved it. The Pentagon's a dope building to work in, but it takes a toll on you, meaning that your hours are long. It takes forever to get to your office because there's just tons of red tape and checkpoints and whatnot. It's a lot to deal with going in and out of the Pentagon, dealing with the metro system and what have you. So that was the whole thing. But so I was loving working from home. I'll wake up, log in my laptop, and that was about it. Do some emails, and then I switched that process over to I was just go to the Pentagon 2 days a week because it was optional to telework. So I was like, I'm just going to go to work 2 times a week and just do all my work on those 2 days, and it worked perfectly. So from that angle, from a work perspective, COVID has been dope. It's been dope. Now, when it came to out processing Andrews and the Pentagon and the DC area to come here to Alaska, or to go there to Alaska rather, it was a mess. But luckily, I had contacts all over, the area. I could just reach out to via text or Snapchat or Instagram, and they hooked your boy up because I had a network of people I could reach out to. But for the most part, COVID has been kind of just inconvenient. I know for a lot of people, it's been financially destructive. For a lot of people, they've lost family members. So, of course, I empathize. And not everyone's in the same place when it comes to COVID. But personally, professionally, it's just been kind of inconvenient. Financially, it hasn't affected me. That's really it. I mean, luckily, I haven't got it. I've been tested for a couple times. I have not contracted it even while being in high traffic areas. So grateful for that. But for the most part, it hasn't came to my doorstep, and I pray it doesn't. But for a lot of people, they're not in that same place. So COVID's been interesting. It's been interesting. Reality Strange asks, do you ever think about moving to another country or continent that's cheaper than USA? If so, which ones? Yes, I do. So that's actually a major plan of mine, although it's still kind of on paper, not so much a reality. Easily accomplishable because, again, the U.S. currency dwarfs most other countries' currency. So in that thought process, yes, Venezuela's been on my mind. Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia, definitely Singapore, and just about Dubai was amazing. So yeah, there's plenty of places that I've considered. Once I'm done with the military, or just going into contracting for the U.S. government to go live in a different country, that would be amazing. Or to just go work as a contractor or a GS civilian in a different country. We have bases all over the place. We have air bases all over the place. We have offices all over the world that I'm sure that they need a finance technician or what have you. So it's definitely been on my mind, something I've been considering and something I'm still looking into. But yeah, living in a different country, it's such a surreal experience that you just get to see somebody else's normal, something that someone else grew up in that you have no context of. There's no way to quantify your mall versus our mall when your mall smells like perfume and it's covered in marble. And you go to our malls and it's high, it's nice, but a Dubai mall, an Abu Dhabi mall, there's no comparison to a US mall. Like their malls are beautiful. They're like museums, and then their mosques, places that the Muslims go to worship, beautiful, beautiful. And then you come to our churches here, there's no comparison. So it's those kind of things that I love exploring, the differences in culture, differences, in one nation to another, and how their normal is versus our normal. And so, yeah, it's always been interesting. And hopefully I get to do that more in the future. That's kind of my plan as far as cross training as well. It's just being able to go to different countries and during my free time, go explore as much as I can, grab my camera and go, to hell with sleep. So hope that answers your question. They'll ask, do you get deployed a lot or are you just stationed in the U.S. majority of the time? Been deployed once, Abu Dhabi. That was my only deployment. I'm definitely trying to get more deployments. It's something you kind of have to ask for. Also, you got to be in the right place at the right time, knowing the right people. So it really depends. Some career fields, they're trying not to deploy because they're all over the place constantly. They're constantly deploying. Whereas in my situation, you just kind of got to ask, really. But there's plenty of deployment opportunities. You just got to ask for it and be ready to go. What's the best way to get a medical job? Go open general. Open general is probably the worst way to try to get a medical job because it's a lottery pick. Go watch my videos on recruitment process because that's a long answer that I can't get into right now. But yeah, medical job, listed. Make sure you qualify for it. Obviously, the ASVAB and MEPS determine that, whether or not you qualify for it. And then the needs of the Air Force, that's a variable that you really can't account for. But, there's always luck. There's always prayer and hope. Open general might have to be listed in most cases. Like you might have to list the open category. So there's that variable as well. So there's really no guarantees with Air Force. But the good thing is, for your contracts, cross-train in 2, depending on your career field. Some career fields you will struggle to cross-train out of. Once they get you, if you're like a 1 alpha, a 1A AFSC, they will try to hold on to you. You will struggle to get out of it, if at all. Because most other career fields that are not flying AFSCs, you should be able to cross-train out of it. Sign a 4-year contract, cross-train in 2. That first year typically will be spent basic training, tech school, in your first duty station. That will fly by, and then you have 1 more year cross-train. So that's the best way to go about getting the job you actually want, is to try to cross-train into it. After you shadowed it, of course, now you have actual hands-on, first-person reality, advisement coming from a person that's actually in the career field. You saw it with your own eyes. You didn't read it on Air Force website or on Reddit somewhere or through me, So hope that helps. Speak on if you've ever had to give someone difficult feedback. How did you handle it? Oh, that's a good question. I keep checking my phone because I'm here with friends. And so whenever they say they're ready to go eat, I don't want to be holding them up. Matter of fact, that's them right now. All right, they're in the car. All right, gotta wrap it up. If I didn't get your question, sorry, CJ and Tony Crockett. I will catch y'all on the next live stream. Remind me of these questions if you remember, or DM me, and hopefully I'll be able to address it. But yep, gotta go. A couple thoughts I just want to share with you guys. Hope you guys having a good day. Say what's good to your boy. I will see y'all later.